All right, what we got here is it's a 2011 Chevy Equinox, and somebody put timing in it. And when they put timing in it, they use one of those aftermarket kits from O'Reilly's, which, you know, I guess if you're on a buck and don't know any better, that you would buy it. But unfortunately, due to experience, and I've done probably 400 or 500 of these, that over time, the chain stretch on the aftermarket kits is way excessive compared to the dealership stuff. So as you can see, that's what's left of the front guide. And then your aftermarket chains, the links or something, it's just thin. They're nothing what they should be. You missed your oil or your balance shaft chain also / water pump. But one thing I had noticed, tensioner never released. It's stuck closed and it won't open up. Probably help exaggerate the condition. Now we go up here and come up. You can see what happens. The chain just starts to eat at the bolts after it breaks the guides off, which is always fun. And when I do these, I use dealership chains, and we basically replace all the guides, tensioners, and do balance shaft chain and primary chain. So once I start to assemble it, we'll get you back in here and you can see some more of it. If you can see this very well. Bolt out of there. You can see on these balance shafts, kind of hard to see, but there's arrows that we're going to line up with our links. Just kind of see it right there. And we got one over here on this one right there. We'll get these out of here, take all the guides and stuff off, and then here in a minute we'll lay in our first chain. Alright, so now we got our new pulley on, lower crank pulley. I've marked my arrows on my balancers. This one's going to go up, that one's going to go down. Our counterbalance shafts, those the 2.4 engines like to vibrate. Part number for a timing cover is going to be that. Alright, now we're back and got a seal driver kit here. Missing one, of course, like always. And then put you down for just a second. And now we got our new seal. Pretty simple, just goes in the front cover. Honestly, right now we're just going to put that in just like so. And then we find our seal driver. So, doing all this one-handed, of course. Try to find my hammer, my big old mess I got going on. Drive that in, make her nice and flush all the way around. Make sure that's all clear, and we're going to put some lube inside of here. Stop that from galling the seal when I put it back together so it's not dry. Of course, clean all that mess off. Make it all look nice and pretty. We got our cover there. I'm going to spray her off real good. Clean all this crap off. And of course, this has also got the oil pump in it. So you want to make sure you put a little bit of fresh oil in the pump. somebody's already done this timing with one of those aftermarket Coys kits. And on the GM24s and GM36s, that's an absolute no-no. You do not use those kits. I don't care if you're trying to save a buck or not. They don't work. You will redo them very, very shortly afterwards. Just like so. And you got your VVT solenoids, intake and exhaust. And we will be using part numbers. That for the exhaust. That for the intake. That's your valve cover set. Absolutely only use dealership parts when it comes to this. You do not want to use aftermarket like I said before. Now, this is the part number we use for the primary chain assembly. It's going to be your guide, both guides, tensioner, actually 3 guides, tensioner and chain. And then we also use the GM balance half chain and tensioner that at this point I do not have quite yet. And this one will also be getting VVT solenoids that I'll show you as soon as they come in. All right, well, we got some more of our parts in. So I'm going to put this rest back together. Trying to find a part number. Part numbers right there. Then you got, this is going to be a tensioner. Part number right there. And this is your new sprocket pulley, part number. And then be installing 2 of these. There's your part number, there's your new actuators. If you ever get to the point where timing is ready to jump or has jumped, I suggest that you do those. Be doing 2 of those, and here in a second we'll be laying in the chains after I soak them in oil for a minute. Alright, so laid in my chain after I soaked it in some oil. You can see on my top there, the yellow link is going to go centered over my timing mark. You can barely see the paint there. This one here, right there with my mark. That one there with the mark. And then we're going to lay in the tensioner and guides and everything here in a minute. And then I will show you after those are installed. Nobody wants to see me put a bunch of bolts in. Kind of pointless. Alright, and you see my guides are in. Torque down. I may double check my links. All good. All good. And of course the water pump way up there does not have timing marks. It does not get timed. The only thing that gets timed is your balance, 2 balance shafts, and then your lower crank pulley. And then we pull the grenade pin. Make sure it's all good. Awesome. Now we're going to lower the vehicle, come in from the top, and we'll get you involved up there. All right, so we got top view. We're at the top now, and you're going to see on front of this phaser here is the old one. A little triangle right about there. That's going to be your timing mark. So you're going to want to make sure that the engine is not at top dead center, because what we're going to have to do is put that mark right there all the way over here, roughly in this general location. And then the rear one will go kind of facing backwards this way. So we're going to make sure the crank is off just a little bit. And then I'm going to take a 15/16 wrench right there, and then turn these cams into position. So I'm going to put the chain, drop the chain down in the hole, which goes down through there, and you got to kind of miss the little nub down there. It sticks out. Kind of get over the back side of it. Alright, you can see now I've kind of moved it around a little bit since then. Now we got our triangle is there, facing this way. And then if we take this off, I'm just using it for reference. I have new ones to be installed. And that now, once it goes slips on your pin, if I can get her on there. There we go, locked in. Triangle facing towards the front. Now we will put our chain in, feed it across the bottom, and lay in our tensioner arm, which all has to be done together. And here's that tensioner arm that's going to be laid in. We'll do that first. Pull the actuator off. It drops down in your hole. So it's off to the back side there. And then we're going to come down here. And just for now, we're just going to put a bolt And right here, slip it in and just barely start it to hold it into place so it don't drop down on me. You see, I lay my chain in. Well, again, we're going to put the yellow three link chain towards the front, and then I'm just going to lay them on top of there, and we'll come down here. Again, I'm going to actually bring the vehicle up a little bit so I can get down here. And what we're looking for is I want to feed that chain around that sprocket. Okay. Bring that in there, and I'm going to take this bolt back out and just slide the tension it just up a little bit. So you can't get it in there the way it is. Lay that in just like so. Just kind of hanging there, and then we'll have to go back up top. When we come up here, you can see my chains. And what I do is, or what I have to do, let me grab the actuator. New actuator there. I'm just going to lay in here. And we're going to put that link, kind of hard to do one-handed. We're going to give it a shot though. Bring that chain around to where the off-colored link between the two yellows is on my triangle. And then we're going to bring this all the way up. Slide it on and just rotate it until it locates itself. Come back down here. And as you can see, we are off one link. So I am going to go grab a pair of pliers real quick, which probably isn't the best thing to use, but we're going to use it. My mess of tools. Get my rounded off jaws so they don't hurt the crankshaft. I've probably done, I don't know, 200, 300, 400 of these. The job calls for 7 hours. And if you're good at it, you can shorten that time, of course. Like any good mechanic. Been doing this for a few years. I'm just gonna grab this and just barely turn it back a little bit. Make sure that link lines up with our dot. There we go. Bingo. So now when I bring this chain around, put my other actuator in up top, which I'll show you that here in a second. So got my other actuator, part number for that, and a little bit of history on these motors. I don't know if many people know this or not, but GM has had a very, very bad problem about the 2.4s and their 3.6s timing issues. The chains love to stretch. But unfortunately, on the 2.4s, especially on the earlier, like I think it's 2010 and on through 15 maybe, they had a problem with ring seating, especially on the high mileage engines. The rings tend to coke up or get carbon behind them, lose a little bit of the tension on the cylinder wall and cause them to consume more oil than normal. This one here is a prime example of that. So to combat that, we use BG's air intake valve camber 44K treatment, which is supposed to free up your rings of carbon, help them reseat the rings, and stop consuming oil. If you could probably figure that out and make a magic bullet, it'd be awesome. But this is what we got, and it seems to work pretty well. So I will feed that other actuator in here and get that laid in, and then show you guys. I'll just put my actuator in. I got my timing mark lined up back there. Timing mark lined up right there. Timing mark lined up right there. So we're going to come back up here, and then kind of what you do is this rear one never wants to line up. So you put your wrench in there like so. It's going to be kind of hard to do and hold you guys at the same time. But we're actually going to turn this just a little bit until the pin drops in. When the pin drops in, it will line up, and I gotta go down and then drop my tensioner arm down where it belongs and put the bolt back in. There we have it. Final well, not final. I gotta tighten bolts, but nobody wants to see me put valve covers and stuff on like that. Figure this is, you know, informative as far as the timing, laying it in, common problems you face, that type of thing. Timing good there, timing good back there. Come down to the bottom. Verify just one more time. Our timing mark is lined up. It is. It is. And now it will be replacing some gaskets and tightening up everything as far as torquing down some bolts and stuff like that. Take me a few minutes to do that and get this put back together, and I will bring you guys back when I start the treatment for that to combat the oil consumption problem. This is going to be your primary tensioner. It will screw in right back here in the back side of the head. And there, like so. And we'll screw that in, tighten it up, and then I will show you how to release that tensioner. And then there is one other guide, which I'll show you real quick. This is the original one off of it. And you see the chain was decided to eat the guide. I've actually seen these chew them completely off and be laying down inside the oil pan. This one just broke the plastics and chewed half of it off. So found all the pieces laying in the front cover, pinched between the block and the house, or the outer casing. This is what it looks like when it's new. Brand new. Dealer part, of course. And I'm going to get that tensioner tightened up, and then I will bring you guys back and show you how to release that tensioner. Alright, got her all tightened up. Now what you're going to do is you're going to come down through here, and what I do is take my wrench that I used to tighten it up with, and you have to spring that tensioner. Just kind of drop the socket. Just kind of tap it a few times, bring it loose, and then now you will see our chain nice and tight now, no longer loose and floppy. One other thing that you're going to want to do, this is your front timing cover gasket. This little piece right here has absolutely no purpose whatsoever, and if you decide to leave this in, you will have to remove the motor mount to do this job. But it is a non-essential part. It does not seal anything. It literally just has a bolt that goes through here and the mount sandwiches on the outside. I come in, I will snip it here, I will snip it here and remove this piece, and stops me from having to remove that motor mount. Just a quick tip. Finished product looks just like that. And when you come in, you'll just lay this right up in there where it belongs. You'll have some locator pins on both sides. One of them's over there. You can kind of see it back here. Again, it's kind of hard to do with the phone in my hand, but we'll make it work. On the locator pin, and you come up here again on the locator pin right there. You can kind of see it. And this stuff will just kind of lay in. We're going to go through and tighten up all these bolts and add my oil squirter, which goes right there, and lay in this last guide right there. Finished product, y'all. There's your other guide in. Oil squirter right there. Guide, oil squirter. All timing looks good. All pins released. Tensioner's tight. I will now finish putting the cover back on, balancer, and all that stuff, and then I'll bring you back and we'll do the BG kit, throw some oil and stuff in it, of course, and we'll bring you back for the BG kit and final closing. And here is the aftermath of that. Got the cover back on, balancer back on, belt and tensioner back on. I'm going to zip tie this up back where it belongs over here. There. Keep it off of the CV axle. Put my cover back on, throw my tire back on, and go back up top. And we're going to fire it up for the first time right now. And she fired the first time. Minimal rattle. We'll have to clear codes when she's done. Sounds good. Right here. Nice and quiet. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. All done. Next thing I do though is I will be doing that 44K treatment, and I will record that. And then final closing, doing Platinum BG clean off those valves and stuff. Have to do with the intake off on this one. And you just unplug the mass airflow. That way it doesn't go all wonky and crazy on you. We'll say here this takes about 25 minutes, 30 minutes or so to do. And then I will be finished with this job. I hope this helps you. If you like it, like, subscribe. All helps the channel. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.